Hey folks, this is Rhykker with a video on Torchlight Infinite, an upcoming cross-platform action RPG. This video is sponsored by Torchlight Infinite. They reached out, wanted me to check out the game, so we're going to talk through some of the systems, some of what makes it different and interesting. And we'll start by saying that right now you're seeing me play the beta on Android, on mobile. It will be cross-platform, however, at launch. So you can play on PC, you can play on mobile, you can cross-play with people across servers, you can change from your PC account to your mobile account. And we'll say right off the bat, the monetization model, free to play with MTX, but the MTX, all you can buy, pets and skins, that's it. Torchlight Infinite is the latest in the Torchlight franchise. It's designed as a sequel to Torchlight 2, so they're trying to be more in line with Torchlight 2 thematically, gameplay-wise, feeling more like that single-player dungeon-delving experience. Yes, there is trade with other players, but this isn't designed to be a big multiplayer game. And in some ways, it almost reminds me of if Borderlands and Torchlight had a baby. There's sort of tones from Borderlands brought in with the personality and the visual style combined with that of Torchlight. But as we dive in and talk about some of the game systems now, we'll remind you that you can download the beta, link in the description, free to play. So real quick to begin with, there's 4 characters to pick from. You got your Berserker, you have your Gunslinger. Basically, he's like a paladin with guns. They call it a divine shot, so kind of like Demon Hunter style ranged shooting guns. And then you have your Frost Fire Mage, Gemma, and then the class that I've been playing here is it's an interesting one. The Space-Time Witness, the character is Yuga, and in true Torchlight fashion, there's always some little twist on the classes. They're all, very unique and personalized. Yeah, there's echoes of existing archetypes, but they always put their spin on things. So I have a few hours of play under my belt here. I'm level 27, and here, let's start by looking at the gear. Now, as you can see, I have an assortment of gear of different rarities, and taking a look at the attribute points here. So if we take a look at a piece of gear, we see it's giving me energy shield. We see 5 to 6 added spell cold damage, added spell lightning damage. So there's a distinction between things that add to spell damage versus just regular attack damage. Max life, fire resistance, and lightning resistance. And then what is this little button here? We click that, we click on details, and now, now we even see prefix, postfix, we see the tier, the ranges. This is something that all aRPGs should do. Just have that little advanced thing. Show me more details. And in fact, looking at a weapon exemplifies this even further. We see here DPS 18, 8% cast speed, mana regeneration, added spell cold damage. Let's see those details. Bam, the full breakdown. 9 to 17 physical damage, 1.4 attack speed, 3 weapon range, 540 critical strike rating. And again, the prefixes and all that. This is the happy middle ground between presenting a simplified thing, giving those simple numbers for the newer players, the more casual players, but then we have the deep dive into the advanced details. Why don't more games do this? I found 2 pieces of legendary gear. I think I have one here. I haven't identified it. Here, we'll identify it live right here. So identifying this, I'm not going to use it because my build is specialized in wands. This is going to be something I'll probably use on a different character. But the Lotus Coffin here, added gear physical damage 100%, physical damage converted to cold damage. Look at that. Ironically, I have a cold build, but 25% chance to freeze. You can click on that to see what does freeze mean. Cold damage above a certain threshold has a chance to cause this ailment on hit. Frozen units cannot perform any actions. 1% chance to freeze yourself. Oh, wow. For half a second after defeating frozen enemies, and restores 5% life on defeat. The other piece of gear that I do have that I am using, simply because it's legendary, 25% move speed on these. Now, my build is not a dex build, so it's not evasion focused. This gives me evasion. I want energy shield on my armor. But that 25% move speed, I haven't found a piece of gear to compete with that. It's got a lot of good resists. I'm making choices here. I'm sacrificing, going for boots with energy rating, which synergizes with the build that I've been picking in my skill points in order to benefit from this. Gain 1 stack of thrill per 1 second while in static. So I'm not really in static, so I'm not really benefiting from that, but just these chunky defense boots with that move speed can't give it up. And if we take a look at the info tab up here, right, you can see your level, your DPS, you can get the breakdown on that. It's 96% cold. Again, I love being empowered with information. Let me see all these chunky stats. If we go to the outfit, this is where the cosmetics come into play. We're not going to focus too much on that right now, but there are cosmetics that you can get. And going back over here now, let's look at our skills. So if we come up here, the skill system is quite interesting in that you get a skill, or you get a number of skills that you unlock over time. And I guess to explain this, you have something called energy. This value rises as you rise in level, and eventually I believe items even give you energy. And everything costs a certain amount of energy. So right now I have 30 out of 36 of my energy consumed. So I could, for instance, spend 5 energy to upgrade this skill. And now with this skill, I can apply a passive skill to it. So let's show what that means. This over here has unlocked. And now on this skill, and this skill being Frigid Transmission, it's my mobility skill. As you start off, there are some shared skills amongst the different classes, but then you get your personalized skill. So this is my class's personalized mobility skill. Blink forward while enveloped in a gust of cold wind. Deals damage to enemies and slows them. So now we can apply passive skills to this. So for instance, Efficient Cast reduces the mana cost. Added cold damage makes it deal more cold, freeze chance, etc. All of these different passives that we can apply, and we can unlock the ability to apply even more passives. So we'll just take a look at my main damage skill here, Ice Lances. Conjures and fires an ice lance that jumps between enemies. I've applied freeze chance in order to deal more cold damage and to have a chance to freeze enemies. Multiple projectiles so that I'm shooting out even more ice lances. They deal a bit less damage, but it's worth it. And now I've just recently applied wind projectiles to give them more speed and more damage. So they're going to hit their targets faster and bring more of a wallop. Quickly, my other powers here. You start off with a compound potion. So this is basically just a heal on a cooldown. It's a life potion and a mana potion all together, but apart from that, my class also has a mana potion, or maybe it's available to all the classes, I'm not too sure. But this is just for mana. I pop this quite often currently with my build. As I said, I'm using Frigid Transmission for mobility. Then I got Frost Pool, which I'm casting on enemies. Conjures a Frost Pool. It's basically just an area of cold damage, and the reason I want that is because it synergizes with Ice Lances, because this skill deals 24% extra damage against units in a frost pool. So that's how I put together this build here. Then we have auras, aura skills. I have Ice Imbue that I've chosen to activate. I could deactivate it if I wanted to, but this is sealing mana or reserving mana, as you might say in Path of Exile. So you can see that that blue bar down there is not full because this is using up, I believe it's 25%. Yeah, 25% of my mana is sealed. Imbue your weapon and magic. Do more cold damage, basically. So this is giving me an aura that is just passively giving me more cold damage. And what I did at first, I actually added another buff to this, and I've changed the build since then because it was reserving too much mana, where here, if we click change, I was using Frigid Domain as well. This seals 50% of my mana though, so I was sealing 75% of my mana. And I don't know why I say mana. All my life I've always said mana. When I started doing YouTube videos, I started calling it mana. Anyway, I was sealing 75% of my mana, and I just didn't have enough leftover mana. So now I've been pumping my mana more to be able to afford Frigid Domain. That's what I'm going for next, because this is an aura that every second enemies are going to take 5% extra cold damage, stacking up to 4 times for a 20% damage buff. Really going to help against those bosses. But because I couldn't quite deal with it yet, I am using Magical Source as my other aura. This just gives me more mana regeneration to make me a little bit less dependent on that potion. And this only reserves a very small amount of mana. See, it's sealing 12 mana as opposed to a percentage. And as you'll see soon, I've put a lot of points into getting more mana. At level 39, I'm going to lock another slot for a aura skill. And if we just quickly look here, you can get a total of 4 passives unlocked. So what passive will I get next? I mean, there's a whole bunch others that I might want to go for. Others that unlock later on. Greater multiple projectiles. That sounds very inviting. Plus 4 projectiles. Yeah, I'm probably going for that. That sounds like a lot of fun. Critical strike rating increase. Extra ignite. Added chaos damage. Do note that these don't apply to everything. It's very similar again to Path of Exile passives in that they need to be able to apply to the given skill. So a skill will have certain properties. You can see here, spell, projectile, cold, horizontal. So a support skill might affect cold spells, or it might affect projectile spells. So you got to make sure you have the right tag. Then we look at the talent tree. So this is like your sort of passive skill tree. You start off with just 1. I picked Goddess of Knowledge. That seemed to fit my mage style the best. And my first go around, I went pure DPS. Then I was getting one shot. So I went the complete opposite direction, and I went very defensive. Right away, you can see the nodes kind of reflect what you would expect them to. I went hard on energy shield, a lot of max energy shield, and ultimately shield regain and mana, and there's a number of things that I have that synergize with that. So here we have plus 40 maximum energy shield, and then negative 15% extra damage taken at full energy shield. And then this one over here, plus to max mana, plus mana regeneration, and 3% of max mana added as energy shield. So I became super tanky with my energy shield and mana. By investing in both, they synergize together. And then up here you can see I've unlocked 2 things that I had choices between. So I picked Magic Shield, plus 50% to max energy shield, and then plus 50% damage dealt at full energy shield, so that I can now benefit even more from having that max energy shield by translating that into a damage buff. And then the other one I picked at level 20, plus 1 maximum energy shield per 6 intelligence, plus 1 intelligence per 1 level. Now, I'm not claiming this is some kind of fully optimized build. Maybe I could have gone more glass cannon, but I wanted to try something a bit different. My tendency is to go glass cannon, so I decided, let me try the opposite. Let me see what kind of powerful build I can make going really defensive. And I was surprised. You know, I'm going full on shields and I'm killing stuff fast. I'm still having a good time. At some point you unlock a second talent tree here. And so I've just started building into that one, but again, I'm starting off with the energy shield stuff, plus to mana as well. And again, I'll have things to pick at further investment points within this. And then you're going to unlock yet another talent tree at level 45. So lots to actually customize in a build. We're not even done yet, but I'm just imagining like what does it look like to make a build for this game? And there's a lot of stuff to decide. Now, space-time illusion is my ultimate. You unlock different powers to put on it. Now, the one I got at level 16 I like quite a bit. So space-time illusion, basically this guy's ultimate, he lays down this purple pool on the ground, and if you stand in that pool, yourself or your allies, you have faster move speed and attack speed. And that was great at first until I couldn't stand stationary anymore without getting stomped by enemies. So at 16, that transforms it from a stationary pool on the ground to a little clone that walks around and it emits it as an aura. So now he kind of follows you, so that aura comes with you. And he also attacks periodically as well. And there's even more ways to customize this that you unlock as you go higher and higher and higher. Then you have your Pact. So these are other kind of passive things you get. They're smaller things, right? Plus 2.5% move speed, 2.5% move speed. This is going to be some XP acquisition. Once I got enough points in, I got this one over here, more XP, which is just what I'm going for at low level. But here is, if we flip this around, that's damage reduction. Then there's this whole other system where you start to unlock pets in true Torchlight fashion. You get pets. I have this adorable little otter. And this tree, every node actually has something that it does for pets, 8% minion max life, and something that it does for yourself as well. So you got this whole tree to fill up. There's a whole bunch of different pets that you can find. This is what my little otter does over here. You can upgrade him. So as you can see, there's a lot to put together when you're making a build in this game. Lots of interesting systems, the skills look interesting, the gearing gives you various stats. This is definitely a game I'm going to keep an eye on. I'm especially looking forward to the PC release. Right now, it's mobile only just for beta, but again, it'll be available on PC as well in the future. And free to play, you could be trying it out right now, mess around, test out a character. If you do, let me know what character class you play. Let me know your thoughts on the game. Sound off in the comments. Again, link in the description to check out the beta. And again, that's going to wrap up this video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please share it. Check out these other videos and subscribe to join Rhykker's Raiders for more aRPG content.